If what makes me is my money, then what makes you is your body. I know a lot of you don't like that. You say that you shouldn't compare a woman's body to how much money a man makes. But if a woman can have a standard that if you can't come in and take over all her bills and pay her $6,000 a month lifestyle, then I can have a standard that if you're too big or ever become too big, I don't have to be with you. If you're too small or ever become too small, I don't have to be with you anymore. Because you're calling yourself a call girl at this point. You're saying that the value that a man only has is how much money he's making. You are holding on to archaic ideas. The archaic ideas that have been held for the last 12,000 years that a man's value is what he provides to the household, coming from societies where women weren't able to be the hunter, where women weren't able to be the mass farmers. Women back in the day had small farms around their houses. They took care of the small animals in the agrarian lifestyles. So it's not that the woman didn't participate in the growth of the economics of the household. They just couldn't participate at the larger level. And that's just based on physicality. Has nothing to do with mentality, nor does it have anything to do with equality. But in this mindset, we've progressed into the industrial age where women still were being paid less than men legally. But after the 1970s, those things started to diminish, and certainly after the 90s, they diminished greatly because since that time frame, women have been able to make just as much money as a man, if not more than a man, depending upon certain groups, especially in the African American community, where women were, with Reaganomics, given the benefit of satisfying two quotas, one being woman, the other being a minority. Women started getting into colleges easier than black men. Women started to be able to get jobs at higher levels, especially in the mid management, before a black man. And this is because during the quota era, it satisfied two quotas, wasn't based on anything other than that. But now in 2025, and when I have discussions with my son, I see this very evidently. There is still this mentality that he is supposed to come in and take over your entire lifestyle. It makes no sense. That math is not just, it's just not mathing. So let's do a little math here. So for this woman to have a $6,000 a month lifestyle, in my opinion, she needs to be making $100,000 a year. That way you have money for investments, you have money for savings, and you're not living paycheck to paycheck. So if I come into her lifestyle and let's say I'm making $50,000 a year just to make the math easy, then that means that if we came together, we are now have a household of $150,000. You were able to take care of your $6,000 lifestyle. I was able to take care of my $3,000 lifestyle, just to make the math easier. When we come together, it should be that my lifestyle doesn't cost me 3,000 anymore. It costs me less. Your lifestyle doesn't cost you 6,000 anymore. It costs you less because if we came together, we are supposedly coming together to build together. Not I got to come in and take over your lifestyle so that now all your money is free. All your money can go to whatever you decide. All your money can now just be allocated to your investments, your savings. That I have to come in for that. Now, some people will say, well, that means that the man just can't afford the $100,000 lifestyle woman. That's stupid. That's asinine. Because the same way that you would say that a woman's value is not her body is the same way that I would say that a man's value is not his money. A woman's value and a man's value is their character. Their value is how they treat one another, how they treat the world, how they raise children, how they deal with situations. That's the value of a person. Who they are as a person is the value, not how much money they make. If a man or a woman is happy with a certain type of work and they love that type of work, but yet it's not the type of work that pays $100,000, she doesn't have less value than someone who decides to do work that they don't particularly care for and they make 100,000. You see, I was in that situation at one point. I used to be an IT guy. The highest amount of money I ever brought home was right around $210,000 in one year. But I hated the work. I couldn't stand the work. I was miserable within the work. But because I had a family to take care of, I figured out a way to change career paths and still take care of the family, not making as much, but still making enough to take care of the family. But in this situation, a man is supposed to do whatever to be able to afford that. And if that is your criteria, it still shouldn't be that the man comes in and he makes 100,000, you make 100,000, and now he pays for your entire life plus his, and you get to put away all your money, so that if he leave you, you're taken care of. What about if a man comes in and he's paying all your bills and paying all of his bills, paying all the bills of the household, and when she leave you, she walks away with all this money and you walk away broke. You walk away starting over. Doesn't that sound quite selfish? But if that is your standard, that a man's value is based on his money, then my standard can be it's based on your body. It doesn't matter what you look like right now. If when I met you, I liked you and you were a size 10, but then 20 years later, you are size 18, size 22, you're beyond my scope of physical attraction, I should be able to leave you. If you started out as a size 10, but then 20 years later, you are size 0, a size 2, you are beyond my scope of attraction, so I should not have to be with you. I should be able to leave you. Because if your criteria can be my money, my criteria can be your body. Don't like that, do you? But when you say that something like this, you're basically saying that the value of a man is his money, which makes you a call girl. Plain and simple. If a man was saying that the value of a woman is her money, it makes him a gigolo. Simple as that. Nothing else to it, because that's how the math. So I love to hear what you guys think. Always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.